Hey friends, here we go again. Another video. I haven't been making many of those lately because brain stuff. So let me get my phone out of the way. Nothing you need to see there. We're going to do another Watch Me Work video. I'm going to do another reading. And we're actually going to take it from the last one that I did, which was, Am I Cursed? Well, what if the reading had said they were? What would we do then? So the question that we're going to work with today is, oh, I think I'm cursed, or I'm cursed. What do I do? So let's dive in. So I'm going to use a spread that I've shown before. I really like it. It is not new. I think it goes back to the Golden Dawn. And at least our good friend Crowley. Although I will say I've been using that deck kind of almost exclusively all summer. But I'm not going to use it for this reading. I'm going to use the very strange Jack-o'-lantern Tarot. Why? Because, like Everest, it's there. We're heading into that time of year where I'm thinking about all kinds of cool Jack-o'-lantern related, stuff, I guess. And we're going to use the... It's sort of, I tend to use it as a decision-making spread, but it can be used in any way you want to. What it does is it allows you to sort of look at a situation from 4 different angles. So, this person wants to know if they're cursed, this person knows that, or believes that they are cursed and wants to know what to do about it. So that is where we're headed. Hopefully the sound is going to be okay. I'm just going to move this microphone. That looks a little better. I don't know. The sound's never that great. Anyway, yeah. So this is the, I don't even know if there's a name for it. Like, it's on my Etsy shop as, like, the Help Me Decide spread, but that's not what it's called. That's just what I labeled it as. So we start with 3 cards in the middle, and the 3 cards in the middle sort of describe the situation. And so that's the 7 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands. And then the top left sort of represents, if this were a decision spread, like option 1. And then the top right would be option 2. In this case, we're going to sort of think of this in terms of potential remediations. So I did not design the spread to use 3 cards per position. It just very happily came that way, which I'll put our guy here. I quite like. This is an obsidian, I think it's obsidian, skull that I got, that I put out on my table when I read at events so that no creeps come along, because I once had a creepy client and felt like I needed something protective. So, option 1, option 2, this is just general advice down here, and then this is what's out of the client's control or the querent's control. I've been using the word client instead of querent, not because I want to center sort of financial relationship with clients, merely just because I don't like the word querent that much. So, let's not choke before we start reading. So again, this is the situation, option 1, option 2, advice, and then what's out of control, or out of the querent's control, client's control. So we've got here 7 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands. So this describes where the client is right now. 7 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands. I guess this isn't really like the most Watch Me Work video, because I'm going to give you some commentary right now, but I don't believe in negating the client's perceptions of their question, by which I mean, if they think they're cursed, right? Perception is reality. It could be an actual situation where they've been thrown at. It could be a situation where they've kind of thrown at themselves, or have worked themselves up into such a state that there's really no other possibility, and in that case, it doesn't really matter whether or not it's real, because the experience is, right? Their perception is. Perception equals reality. And as annoying as that is, because perception really isn't reality, but for the client in that moment, that's the T. So I approach things with that. I'll also say I don't necessarily, and this is just again a personal, it comes from life experience. I don't necessarily subscribe to the concept that just because we don't believe in a curse doesn't mean that it won't impact us, right? Because if that were the case, then the whole kind of concept of intentional work or magical work or spell work would be negated, because all anyone has to do is just not believe in it, right? And that's not how my experience has shown life to go. But again, that's just me. So I do approach these questions with seriousness. You know what I mean? I believe what the client is telling me, even if I think maybe there's the potential that what they're thinking is happening is unlikely. It doesn't matter what I think, right? It matters what the reading thinks. And that's kind of what I'm saying here. So looking at the cards we've got in the situation, 7 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands. So lots of wands to start with. And actually what I should do is zoom out for a second and just sort of look at the mix of cards that we've got on the table here. So we know the middle ones. Up here, 5 of Wands, 6 of Cups, and the Star. Over here, the Strength, 6 of Wands, 3 of Swords. Down here, 8 of Wands, Knight of Cups, the Moon, and then down here, Page of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, and 4 of Pentacles. The dominant suit is Wands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Wands cards. How many major cards do we have? 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 majors. Cups cards, we've got 1, 2, and then swords, we've got 1 swords card, and then pentacles, we have 1, 2, 3. So yeah, fire is the dominant energy here by a wide margin. And that could certainly indicate some kind of heat being thrown at someone, right? Like, if we term it that way, yeah, certainly there's an intensity of the situation, which again, real, right? Curse, I don't know. Real, yes, the feeling is there, the sensation, the experience, the heat is there, right? So I have to acknowledge that. That's the real situation. 7 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands. The 10 of Wands gives me kind of burnout, you know what I mean? And a sustained state of that. I see someone who is really kind of stumped about why their life isn't progressing. And in that case, or in this case, I have to read this not as whether or not the client is cursed, but rather the effect of it. And so if there is one, and again, I'm not negating the client's experience, so I'm going to assume there is, I see someone who's sort of stuck in life saying, why am I not moving forward? And that's the 7, right? 7s go inside, they internalize, they want to know what's happening. In Pentacles, they're saying what's happening in life. And actually in Waite Smith decks, we get kind of a picture of that, and this one gives similar vibes, right? I can't really zoom in that much, but we can zoom in a little. And, you know, the 7 of Pentacles always kind of gives like a what's happening kind of moment. And what's happening is that their energy is going everywhere, and it's not returning to them, and this has been going on for a long time. The 4 of Wands. Now, 4 of Wands typically considered a positive card, but again, context dictates meaning, right? So the 4 of Wands in this case, what I'm really focusing on is not the party that we normally see in the card, but rather the 4-ness of it, the sustained dragging out, right? 4s are very stable. They stay that way. The energy is staying that way. So what we're really looking at is someone who's kind of not progressing in life, in part because their energy is not yielding results. So if there is a curse, or rather, because there is a curse, what I would say in this case, that the impact of the curse is that their energy, whatever they put their effort into, is scattering, right, everywhere. The 10 is scattering it everywhere, and that's been going on for a long time and will continue indefinitely. When we come up here to the top two columns, or top two rows, what we're looking at are like, what can we do about that? So the first option, 5 of Wands, 6 of Cups, and the Star. So the 5 of Wands suggests the 10 because it is half of the 10. So I could start by saying put half as much energy into what you're trying to do. The spending of energy is one way in which this kind of keeps the curse generating, right? So the more energy you put into it, the more effective it is, right? So cut the amount of energy you're putting into the situation by half, and do some work around rebalancing your emotional state, and that's the 6 of Cups, right? 6 is rebalance. And we have a 5 and a 6, so that's a real nice connection, right? Because the 5s are unstable. In this case, the unstable quality of the 5s is benefiting us because it's mixing up what we have been doing, right? The 4 of Wands we saw in the previous row, exploring what was going wrong. The 5 of Wands sort of says, okay, great, we're stopping that pattern. And the way we're going to do that is by cutting our energy output in half, and use that time to sort of restate rebalance our spiritual and emotional health, and then kind of set a new path. All right, the Star is always for me the compass. So use this time to sort of cut your energy in half, do some healing internally, emotionally, spiritually, and then say, okay, where do I want to go from here? Cutting the energy in half in this case sort of makes me think of a car alternator dying, right? The way that the car alternator keeps the battery generating power. When we cut the energy in half, it stops being able to do that. And so the energy of the curse, or whatever it is, can't regenerate if we don't give it the energy that it has, right? So by cutting our output in half, we're denying it the power, and it's going to peter out and die. So that's one way to look at this. The next way, again, centers a Wands card, 6 of Wands. And again, the evolution of the numbers is very interesting here, because we have 4, 5, and 6. 6 of Wands flanked by Strength and 3 of Swords. What I would say in this particular flow, in this row, is actually, and here's a place where I'm getting maybe a little kind of out of the easily justified in the cards, but what I'm getting is taking kind of magical steps in your own hand, right, or spiritual steps. And the reason why is actually just because the Strength card is giving kind of like witchy vibes with this hat. There's this sort of like tree in the background, it's sort of like, okay, this beast, this lion, in this case, kind of represents for me the situation, the curse, right? And so I'm going to take on that beast and tame it. And the way I'm going to do that is using the same magic, in essence, using what has been used against me and channeling it into a perception shift. And that's what I mean by that is essentially normally when I'm saying that, what I mean is a different outlook. But I think in what I'm really considering here is the way that the 3 grows our mentality, and so I think what we're getting in this case is the revelation that like there is an inner power within you, and you can take what has been thrown at you, ball it up, transform it in the mind, and kind of send it back out as a transformed spell, so to speak. And so this is a very unusual kind of interpretation for me to land on, right? But one of the things I'm trying to do, like this is a kind of practical as emotional and spiritual health can be. This is a little bit more kind of magical, and I'm just kind of following where it's taking me, and where, you know, it's taking me to sort of the idea that, like, if magic is the direction of energy pointing at a goal, then what we've done, you know, if we've been cursed, is we've absorbed someone else's energy that is impacting us in a negative way. It's in us, right? But what we do is we sort of take it on, sort of use the strength card as our, I guess, a validation of our powers, and use the six to sort of six, right? Beauty, fire, energy, to beautify the energy, and then to expand it and sort of like launch it out in a more productive way, the way that the three expands the potential of something, you know. And so it's sort of like taking the energy that's already inside of us, transforming it in our mind, and sort of like shooting it in the way that the Three of Swords sort of has these swords coming out of its brain, right? Sort of like plump. So I'm kind of relying more on the image in this case, which is unusual for me, but these are both things that the client could do really easily, you know, and with little, well, objectively little fuss. So those are the two paths that they could take, and both, I think, effective choices. So one is, here's what you do for yourself. It's sort of like resetting your goals, and this is taking the energy that's been thrown at you, transforming it inside of you, beautifying the energy, and then sort of transforming it in the mind into something productive and like shooting it out. The bottom row over here gives us advice. And so we have the Eight of Wands. Again, wands are consistent in every aspect of this reading. They're in every spread. Eight of Wands, Knight of Cups, and the Moon. So the this is a really interesting row, and I think in a way it kind of takes the energy from the top right, the top right, and transforms it here. So because the energy that we're shooting out mentally kind of takes a more physical form, or an energetic form in the Eight of Wands, and it's sort of being exposed to the oxygen up here kind of ignites the fire. And the Knight of Cups kind of cleanses it and says, okay, great. All right, so this energy, you know, is going out into the world, and I'm going to transform it into, again, something feeling, something sexy, something romantic, and what it gives is the moon, and the moon pulls and attracts. And so I think what this is saying is that what you really want to do is take this perceived energy that is blocking you, and transform it, as the previous row said, and in so doing that, and cleansing it and washing it, so to speak, and refashioning it into an energy that attracts good things to you, because it's just energy. So, yes, I can over-explain, so I'm trying to like do the internal edit. Now, what's out of your control? Page of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, and Four of Pentacles. So this is, again, interesting row. This is the first time oh no, it's not. It's the second time we're getting Pentacles, but we haven't seen Pentacles since the beginning of the reading. And we have the Page of Wands, which, again, is the theme in this reading, right, in terms of the use of the cursing energy or the magical energy. We can't control what immature magicians, right, do. What we can do, and there's a beautiful synchronicity here, Ten of Wands, Four of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. I mean, how brilliant is tarot sometimes, right? Ten of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. We ground our lives in the things that we can control, and the things we surround ourselves in, the things that make us feel safe and good, and we try to sustain that. I think the other way to read this too is that anyone who's sort of out there doing their best may, without knowing, in their attempt to reach their height, may accidentally kind of throw at someone, and the result may have not been malicious, but just kind of a side effect. So we can't really control what other people are doing, but what we can do is try to sort of constantly be aware and curious to what energies may be entering our lives in the way that they're impacting our life experience, and then trying to, again, transform that, as the reading says. So that's the reading. So just to kind of sum up, what we're dealing with in this case is the presumption of curse energy, and then what to do about it. And actually, every part of the reading kind of adds another layer of potential, but I think all of these would over time yield like a really good forward path. Does it give specific advice on like rituals or techniques to use? No, it doesn't. And I think partly that's good, right? Because I think those techniques need to come from you, or in this case from the client, or whoever helps them with it, the practitioner that helps them with it. So it's not prescriptive in the sense of like, take some, rue, you know what I mean, and some, I don't know what's next to me, St. John's wort, you know what I mean, whatever. Like do enroll, you know what I mean, and smell, like, not that, but what it's saying is like, do these things, and then there may be like magical workings that could support that. But however you get there doesn't really matter. It's more that you do the process. There's many paths to the same result. So that is this. So this is this Watch Me Work video on the question of I am cursed. Now what do I do about it? And hope this was enjoyable for you. If you have any thoughts about things you'd like me to cover in one of these Watch Me Work videos, like a question that you think would be cool to explore, happy to do that. Just drop it in the comments. Hope you're well, be good, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye!